This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we get started today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shoe machine in the market. I've said this multiple times. We own 3 of them. I want a 4th and a 5th. My AD's listening to me, but they're so great. They work so well. They're so easy to set up. I think my record is 37 seconds or 32 seconds to set it up. But mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins, they'll take really good care of you. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. This is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's everything you need from a nationally ranked. We won 3 state titles. I think we were just talking recently. We've won over 460 games in our program and lost 130 over the last 20 years. And I think we know the secret sauce to be successful, the roadmap, what it takes on and off the court. So go over and check it out and enjoy the podcast. Bye. All right. Welcome. And our voices are still shot.
Yeah.
They're going to be shot until April. I think I get like a sinus cold drainage thing too all winter. I think that part of my voice sounding like I'm Kermit, but oh well. It gives it nuance. Before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shoe machine on the market. I'm going to try to get a third one because we're going to have to take 18 billion threes between now and next season. Just because, we have to become better shooters. And it's a great way to do that. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Lots of changes coming, prices increasing, getting rid. Like I said in a previous podcast, maybe it was in January, that prices are going to change, that we're going to basically go to Teach Hoops, and then we're going to go to full season access, which is my Teach Hoops membership, my complete library, and win the season or full season access, which is going to be kind of behind the scenes. Some of the stuff that we do as far as building our program, some of the communication stuff, post game, film breakdown, scouting, everything. It's going to be everything. I'm opening the vault. I use Slack. Do you use Slack to communicate with your coaches?
I do not. I mean,
I'll have to show you at some point.
I've used Slack before.
It's really good for keeping track of everything.
Like a whole kind of like where you're brain diving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and
I remember I created a Slack years ago, my first coaching job when we were talking when I was in that beta class. And I just, once I took
the problem is you get all these chains going on text messages again with coaches. Anyway,
I get it.
That's
a whole nother different conversation.
Different podcast. We'll save that. Okay. You are what you emphasize.
Yes. And this is my topic today.
This is. And I'm gonna let me talk about what I brought up to you first, and then you can jump in.
Okay.
So this was the topic that we were initially gonna go. Because in our state right now, there's a lot of 1,000-point score, 2,000-point score things going on in our state right now. And they're stopping the game and they're taking pictures and they're doing banners and all this stuff. First of all, great accomplishment. Nothing against it. Unbelievable. It is something we should celebrate. Here's the issue I have. We playing it like, and I've had 4 Mr. Basketballs in the state of Wisconsin. No one else has had 4 Mr. Basketballs in the state of Wisconsin. So I think I know what good players look like, 1,000-point scorers look like, and all of that. And I can tell you, I've never stopped a game. It is a wonderful accomplishment. It will go in our record book. I don't even know if I gave my 1,000-point scorers the basketball, to be honest with you. I think I did, but I don't even remember. Because it really wasn't about that. It's about us. And it's a reason I don't have anything that we put in our gym is team-based. When I got my 400th win at Middleton, we didn't stop the game or have anything. Like, we celebrated in the locker rooms. They got me the ball and we celebrated as a team in the quiet of our locker room. Great. That's the way it should be in my opinion, should be with these things. You should celebrate them, but I'm not stopping the game. It's like, what does it say to the other 14 players?
Yeah, and I noticed that.
Do you do it for the 800th rebound?
It's nuts.
For the 1,000th assist? I think it's just off scale. I think
it makes no, and
and that's where you are. What you emphasize. That's why I don't emphasize.
I want to just a plug. Like I've been to gyms where they have some of their 1,000-point scorers with their basketballs in their trophy case of their individual accomplishments, and I feel like. And when you're going to showcase anything within athletics, unless it's like an individual sport where that person is like a wrestler or like a cross country person or whatever, where that individual thing, that they can be a highlight in the trophy case because it's an individual sport. But it doesn't make sense for me to put mantras or put emphasis on individuals in a gym or a trophy case. Those things go in the record books, but there's no reason for if that person had 1,500 points to highlight it in your trophy case, because I think it sends the wrong message.
I don't understand the 1,000-point thing. I don't understand so my leading rebounder just got his 800th rebound.
Right.
Do we stop the game for that? Or my point guard became the leading assist of Memorial history. Just got 250 assists in his career. Do we stop the game?
No.
I don't know. It's overemphasizing.
Yeah, but that's where our game is going, though, because now they're adding more games so we can have more stats, so we can embrace those numbers, and that's what people want to see. But at the end of the day, it sends the wrong message. Kids are getting more exhausted. They're getting worn out. And we're not thinking about the cultural piece and just the wear and tear of young people's bodies. I mean, these numbers. When we emphasize at that point, we lose the love and the true meaning of what the game is supposed to be. All those soft skills that kids learn, right? About leadership and commitment and role and putting yourself in front before your team, like your individual goal, right? We lose all that when we emphasize on the wrong things. And that's why I think that's it. And it's hard. Basketball's hard because you put 5 players on the court. So if you overemphasize 1 or 2 individuals, you've lost 13 other people that have grinded and worked hard and practiced all year. It's not like where you have, a football team, there's 11 people and you got all this and that, and they all have different roles and they're on the defense and the offense. At the end of the day, you're usually playing 7 or 8 people. And then you start to really only highlight 2 or 3 of them. That sends the wrong message because your nucleus and a basketball team has to be super, super, super tight.
It has
super tight.
And here's the issue is if you emphasize points, you're not emphasizing other things. It's going back to the initial thing. What my program, what do we emphasize? Hopefully, and we haven't done a very good job of it, we emphasize taking care of the ball. We emphasize hustle drills. There's a point last night, maybe 45 seconds left. One of my point guards, he literally dove for a ball 20 feet. I mean, it was literally like a volleyball dive. He almost got it too. He didn't quite get it, but he almost got it. But that's what I want to emphasize. I want to emphasize the bench standing every time someone comes off, which we're not very good at right now. I want to emphasize us.
And I will tell you again, this comes down to, I think, the grind of the season. We forget that. And I think why we have this podcast today is to continue, like, all the X's and O's are great. But like for me, my goal in January, and now this is January, but this podcast is going to be in February, is I want to focus on 4 things in practice that I know that can correlate directly into games. And I've noticed the numbers shift and we've lost our identity. And so here are my 4 things, and I wrote them down. Number 1 is just stance on defense. Okay. If we have lazy stance in practice, what's going to happen in the game? We're going to have a lazy stance. Rebounding. Okay. Are we rebounding? We can do 100 drills, and I've learned this from you. You are what you emphasize. Are you going to make them do push-ups? Are you going to make them run? If you get so caught up in, I got to stop this player, that player. Well, you know what? You got to stop them from getting the basketball by all people rebounding, right?
Right.
Going back to, okay, why is my defense not? My girls are getting lazy on not communicating, talking, okay? And they're also pointing that out too. When you talk about emphasis, you can make it co-constructed. The last one came from a player yesterday in practice. She's like, Coach, I don't think we complete the play in practice enough. Like, we'll run a set and then we'll get beat and she might miss a layup and then we just stop. We got to complete that play, And it was such a good feel of kind of a feel of like, oh, these are things we can control. When you have things that you emphasize, you can control them. You can't always control if that other person's going to make the shot or not, but you can control all the 4 things I talked about today.
Right.
I don't know what you'd like to emphasize, but those are my 4 and 24.
No, it's
my 4 and 24. There you go. There's my slogan for the rest of the year.
Now, I don't need to go in all mine, but I've emphasized.
What's one thing that that maybe you want to be something that your team or not maybe one of my 4, that's something that you want to see better.
I'm a big one on being prepared, and that has to do with knowing the scout, being on time, respect. Like, to be honest with you, this road trip, no issues. Everyone was on time. Everyone was like, we had somebody miss the bus, but that's a whole different story. But we had but other than that person, yeah. But once we got there, it was like everything was good. Whatever. It is what it is. Don't miss the bus. And that's not our culture. You just don't do that. Right. So yeah, we're leaving. And the thing is, I emphasize that stuff. Like I said, do not be late. Like we send reminders. We said it in our last team meeting. We talked about how expectations of behavior, how do we handle the shake line, all that stuff, all is important. All is very important. But it is.
Don't lose sight of that stuff though.
Don't.
Because a lot of that will reflect the numbers that you see on your stat report. And it will also reflect on whether it goes in the left column or the right column. I agree. And so that's why we do this podcast.
That's why we do the podcast. All right. Till next week, Coach.
Good one, Coach.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like it. Go over and check out our other podcasts, High School Hoops, Teacher Side Gig, and then go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great day.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, Rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, Rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.